So this is going to be short. Thank you everyone and welcome to the Taroworks 6.4 release webinar. My name is Geoffrey Mwangi, in charge of product operations at Taroworks, and I'm so excited to unveil the new features in this release. The new version provides better attendance from the field, is accessible to users with visual and hearing impairments, and makes saying clearer. Just to note that we take your feedback into consideration for this feature releases. So thank you so much to those clients who have raised this request, and we hope these new functions will be able to help everybody. On the same note, please keep the feedback coming by sharing your ideas with the customer success manager, or please submit a ticket with the feedback. Before I hand over to my colleague Tabitha, who will be showcasing how you can use these features, I'll go through a few housekeeping rules. This session will be recorded and will be shared on our website blog and our YouTube channel for reference, just in case your colleagues were unable to make it. Everyone is muted by default, but if you have a question at any point in the presentation, please type it into the chat and we'll try to pause and get it answered. If you'd like to ask your question in person, I'll unmute you and feel free to introduce yourself to the community while asking your question. Okay, I'll now hand it over to Tabitha to go ahead with the demo.
Great. Thank you, Geoffrey. Hi, everyone, and thank you for joining us today. My name is Tabitha Kamau from Taroworks Services team. And today, as Geoffrey mentioned, we are super excited to show you what's new in our Taroworks 6.4 release. So in this attendance enhancement release, we have introduced features to enhance your mobile user experience. I am especially excited to share with you about the drill down hierarchy enhancements that we have introduced in this release, among other features. Okay, so the agenda for this session is we are going to look at what's new in Taroworks 6.4. We're going to see a demo of the new features in action. And finally, we're going to look at some best practices when performing a Taroworks upgrade. So here are the major feature updates we have in this release. So we have the drill down hierarchy enhancements, and under this we have what we're calling force select all on the last level of the drill down hierarchy. So we shall see how this feature is, and we are also now using the relationship fields in the drill down hierarchy filters. Accessibility enhancement is the other feature, and this is through the Android TalkBack. And then we have the visual improvement of the sync progress bar. Right, so let's dive into our first feature. So in Taroworks 6.4, we have made two major improvements on our drill down hierarchy feature. And one of these is that now you can create a job where all records in the last level of the drill down hierarchy are automatically selected, rather than having the mobile users manually select those records. And this is achieved through the force select all feature we are going to highlight, as we have highlighted here. And this also ensures that no record is missed by the mobile user. So the second improvement here is on the drill down hierarchy filters, where we have now added the relationship field as a possible filter in the drill down hierarchy filters. And this relationship field applies to both the master detail and the lookup relationships. And drill down hierarchy filters, they help further target the data that the mobile user can use from Salesforce for a particular job. And what happens is that only those records that will fulfill those conditions will be presented in the drill down. So we'll see this feature in action in our demo in a few minutes. Right, so Then the other feature is the accessibility improvements. So like I mentioned before, we have improved our Taroworks mobile app to make it accessible to users with visual and hearing impairments through the Android TalkBack. So TalkBack is it's a built-in feature in Android devices. So it's an Android feature that provides spoken feedback so that you can use your mobile device without looking at the screen. And what we've done is that now Taroworks has leveraged on this feature to enable users with the visual and hearing impairments to get the spoken feedback or the notifications when they tap on the links and the buttons on our app. So what we've done is that we have made the changes to our links, or buttons and labels so that when the mobile user taps or clicks on those buttons or links, the spoken feedback is meaningful to the mobile user, so they'll know exactly what that link or that button is meant to do once they tap on it. The other thing, what we call the logical reading order in the repeat section. So here we have ensured that there's a meaningful sequence when announcing the text, especially in the repeat sections. And also this also applies to the page navigation titles, so that once they tap on those titles, they have a meaningful description of what they're supposed to do. So this feature, like I mentioned, is in the Android devices, and we shall see how we enable that feature and now how you're able to use Taroworks with that feature. We'll also highlight a few tips and tricks when you're using the TalkBack feature. Okay, then lastly, we have the visual enhancement of the sync progress bar. And what we have here is the mobile users can now view the percentage of jobs processed for upload to Salesforce. So as we shall see later in the demo, the progress bar, it's showing on the processing job stage of the sync process. And this is the step that takes the longest when you have jobs sitting in the device that need to be uploaded. Hence, that's why we give this step the first priority in this enhancement. So, and then the rest of the steps, they'll still have the gray rotating circle as the sync progresses. The other improvement here is that now all the sync steps, they're now numbered as the sync progresses. So you're able to tell you are at which step of the total number of steps. Great. So let's go into the demo and now see these features in action. So for this demo, I'm going to use our fictitious company, which we call Aquacomb. And Aquacomb is a fictional social enterprise that works in remote communities. So what they do, they assess sites for well construction, then they build the wells to provide reliable water sources. Then they register community members to each of those well sites. Then from there, they'll be able to track the health progress and the attendance from the training sessions that they do carry from time to time. So for our use case today, Aquacomb is training well site members on waterborne diseases for well sites funded by a particular donor. So Aquacomb has their mobile users collecting data from those training sessions, and we shall also assume that one of the mobile users is visually impaired and is going to use Taroworks to also collect the data. So let's see this in action. Right. So in this scenario, like I've said, in that use case, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to set up a job in which one, I want my mobile user to create an attendance record for every single member for that well site. So this way, as the admin can require records for all those members registered to that well site, so that an attendance record can be created for each one. So the feature that is going to help us achieve this here is what we call the force select all feature. So on the same job also, I also want my mobile user to use this job to only select or to only work with well sites funded by a particular donor. Okay, so let me first illustrate the first feature. So what I already have my job set up here. So the first level is selecting the lesson, where I'm selecting the module and the lesson name. Then the second level of the hierarchy now is where I'm able now to see, I'm able to select the region, the well site, and then on the last level is where I have my well site members automatically selected. Okay, so to achieve this, once I'm on my last level of the hierarchy, I'll check on this button here called the Allow Selection of Many Records in the last level. Okay, so you notice once I check that, then the second checkbox appears, which is automatically select all records in the last level. So the first checkbox, so prior to 6.4, the initial text here was allow mobile user to select multiple records in the last level. So the text now has changed to read allow selection of many records in the last level, but the functionality still remains the same. So once I check that, then I'm able now to automatically select all records in the last level. Okay, so once I'm able to select that, then I'll click on save, and all the records in the last level, in this case, all my well site members for this particular well site will be automatically selected for my mobile user. Okay, so the other point, or the other point I want the mobile user to achieve is that I only want my mobile user to use this job on well sites that are funded by a particular donor. Okay, so in our data model, so well site is a child of the donor object. So here we will use the relationship field on the well site to select the specific donor that we want to work with. So on the well site object here, click on edit. This was already selected, so let me show you. So once you click on filter, edit, then I'll click on add filter. And my relationship field here is the donor, here. So select donor. And the operator that we can use with this is only the equals operator. And then here, because I want a specific donor, then I'll click on the search icon here. Then I can look up the specific donor that I want to work with. So as you can see my list of donors here. So let's assume I'm working with my first donor, which is Grameen. So I'm able to select that and then click on save. So that means on the drill down hierarchy, my mobile user will only be able to see wells that are funded by Grameen, which is our donor. Then I'll click on save. Okay. Right. So now let's change hats. And now put on the mobile user hat. Okay. And see now the mobile user's experience with this job. So click on jobs icon. This is my job, which is training session. Start a new job. Okay, so then I'll collect the data here. So the first is I need to select the module and then select the lesson. So like we said, they're training session on waterborne diseases. Today we are teaching them on malaria. So once I have that, then I can now proceed to select my region. So my region I'm working with today is the Amber City East. And then, so these are the only well sites that are funded by my donor. So that's why now the list now reduces to only the well sites that are funded by my donor because of the relationship field filter that I applied. So I work with Amber City East 2, and here are my list of well site members. So like we mentioned, you have all the records automatically selected. Okay, so as a mobile user, I cannot deselect any. So this now ensures that I'm working with the whole data set and no records is being missed. So with that, I'll proceed to the form. And now I can proceed and say, so I have a few details here. The lesson is already populated. So the date, let's assume it's today. We are carrying out the session. Then session notes. can call this maybe day 1. Then I'll click on next. And now with my well site members already selected in the repeat section, so now I only need to check who attended and who did not attend. So go on the attended column. Then this is my first record. So let's assume that first member attended. So I can either click OK to proceed to the next row, or I can select, after I make my selection, I can proceed to click on next. And this takes me to the next well site member number 3. Then I'm able to go and select. So let's assume in this for day 1, all the members attended the training. So still click on next so that I save on time and fill in the details. So we're assuming all the members attended day 1 of the training. This is our last member. Then I can click OK. So once I have that, then I can proceed to next. And that's the end of my job, and I can mark that as complete. Okay, so since we're assuming I'm in the field, I have minimal connectivity or no connectivity. So I'll click on sync later. Then I'll do the sync. I'll sync the job when I have connectivity later. Great. So let's see our second, yeah, we should still be here. So our second feature is the TalkBack, Android TalkBack feature. So, and as we mentioned, this is it's an Android feature, and what Taroworks has leveraged on this feature to enable users with visual and hearing impairments to get the spoken feedback or notifications when they tap on the links or the buttons on the Taroworks app. So what we're going to do, we're going to turn on TalkBack for our visually impaired mobile user and see his experience in using Taroworks. So I'll go to the settings, the device settings. So the steps here might vary slightly depending on the device, but should be on the settings. Then I go to accessibility. Then I have my TalkBack option here. So if I click on TalkBack, so like it says here, it provides a spoken feedback so that you can use your device without looking at the screen. And of course, we have a few tips here on how to use TalkBack on your device. So let's turn it on. So what you will turn it on. Then we go back to the Taroworks app.
Sync button. Double tap to activate.
Okay. Think because I'm using headsets, I'm not sure you can hear, but let me quickly.
We can hear it faintly.
Taroworks. Sync button. Double tap to activate. Jobs button. Double tap to activate.
So once I click on any of the buttons,
Sync button. Double tap to activate.
so there's a spoken feedback to show which button or which link the user has tapped or clicked. So like if I go to jobs
button. Double tap to activate.
So to activate any link or any button, I have to double click.
Taroworks. Select job, heading 1 of 7, in list, 7 items. 01, training sessions, 01. Training sessions job has 5 saved jobs, 2 of 7. Double tap to activate. 01, training session.
So if I click on any of the links,
New job, 1 of 2, in list, 2 items.
So
Double tap to activate.
if I need to open it, then I have to double tap to open it.
Taroworks 01, training sessions. Collect data, 2 of 2, in list, 2 items. Drilled 1, well maintenance, next page, 1 of 2, in list, 2 items. 2, waterborne diseases, next page, 2 of 2. Double tap to activate.
Okay, so that's how TalkBack works. So once you tap on the item, it reads what's showing on the screen. Then to open that, then you have to double tap.
Drilldown header down. Double tap. 2.1 malaria, 1 of 2, in list, 2 items. Double tap to activate.
Okay. Right, so I'm going to, sorry about that. I'm going to stop the TalkBack. I'm going to switch it off. But we have more details on how to set up, sorry. Great. So we have more details on our website on how to use the TalkBack and the tips and tricks. So one of the tips is that you have to use 2 fingers to scroll on the device, and the other one is that passwords are not spoken, but on the settings you can enable the password to be spoken out. But then this will not be limited to only Taroworks. It will be speaking passwords, or it will be speaking out the passwords for all the apps on that device. So we have more details on our website on the tips and tricks for when using TalkBack. Right, then our last demo item is on the enhancement of the display on the sync progress bar. So like I mentioned, the bar is only showing on the processing job stage. And previously, this was labeled as uploading completed forms. And like I mentioned, this is a step that takes the longest when you have jobs sitting in the device that needs to be uploaded, hence the improvement on this step. So hence that's why we gave priority on this step. So let's now assume our mobile user now has internet connection, and now they are able to proceed to sync. Okay, so let's click on sync. So like I said, the processing sync bar, it's on the processing job stage. So as you can see, it shows the percentage 40, 20, 40, all the way until the jobs are uploaded. And then the rest of the steps will still have the rotating circle. And like we said, that now the steps are numbered so that the mobile user can now see at what step they are on the sync process. Great. So let's go back to the presentation. Okay. So like I mentioned, we also wanted to highlight some of the best practices when you're performing a Taroworks upgrade. And there are a couple of factors to consider when you're performing any Taroworks upgrade. So one, if this is your first Taroworks upgrade, please submit a request through our support site. And that request can be seen here. So our support site is taroworks.zendesk.com, and here is where you submit the request on this link here. So once you click on this link, then you can now ask for assistance to do your first upgrade. So what we'll do is we'll take you through the upgrade process over a call. Then number 2, we recommend that you schedule the upgrade at a time of low mobile user activity. So when your mobile users are not using the system. Then also ensure that the mobile users have synchronized all the completed jobs from their devices to Salesforce before you do the upgrade. Then we also have our release notes and the upgrade documentation still on our support site. So if you go to taroworks.zendesk.com, then you should find our release notes here and our installation upgrade steps. So we have our current release notes here for our current release, and also we have the steps on how to upgrade that. And then finally, you should prepare a list of the profiles that are using Taroworks licenses, and this applies to both Salesforce and mobile app. Awesome. I will now pause and open the session for questions or comments regarding Taroworks 6.4.
Great. Thank you, Tabitha, for the highlights of our top features in 6.4. Okay, we have one question from Sam, who is asking whether they can use TalkBack on any other language rather than English.
Yes, so TalkBack supports all the languages that are supported by Android. So remember, we say TalkBack is an Android feature, so it will support all the other languages that they're supported by Android.
Thank you for that. I hope that answers the question sufficiently. So we have a hand raised by John. John, would you like me to go ahead and unmute you to ask your question? I just unmute you so that you can ask your question. I've just unmuted you. You can click on unmute button. And ask your question. Okay, I think he just typed the question, and the question is, how long will the upgrade process take? Thank you for that question.
Great question. You say, John. So the 6.4 upgrade should take give or take 45 minutes, because like we said, that is if we are, so this is twofold. So if we are guiding you on how to do the upgrade, so we usually recommend you set aside 1 hour, but it usually takes less than that. But if this is not your first time and you've done a previous upgrade, then this should take less than 30 minutes.
Great, thank you. I hope that answers the question sufficiently. In case you have any other question, feel free to raise your hand or type your question into the chat box. All right, think that's all with the questions. Great, thank you. I think we can close the session earlier.
I think there might be just one more question, Jeff from Omawumi, about like a deadline, if there's a deadline for the upgrade to be done. So just for all Taroworks upgrades, so everyone knows, we ask that you be on the current or previous version of Taroworks in order for it to be supported. So if you write in to our support desk with an issue and you're on an old version that's not the current or previous, you know, it's likely that that bug or issue could have been resolved in a newer version, and we're going to ask you to upgrade. So there's no deadline necessarily that you need to be on the newest version by. We just ask that you stay on the current and previous version. We know that our clients, when you're doing your upgrade, you know, everyone's operations are different, and the accessibility for the mobile users to be able to have internet and download that update is different for everyone. So we don't force any timelines on our clients. and let us know if that answered the question, or if you have additional questions, you can also raise your hand and we can unmute you.
We have one more question from John, who's asking where we'll find the documents in the support site that will enable you to go ahead with the upgrade process. Tabitha, you can quickly show that.
Yes. Great. So our support site is taroworks.zendesk.com. So in this, let me go to the homepage. So this is the homepage of our support site. So anything involving installations and upgrades, we have this section here, installations and upgrades. So once you click here, then we have, this is getting started section. So we have the release notes here for all our releases. So we have them here. Then here now we have the various steps. So the upgrading step-by-step process of performing any upgrades. So on this one, they are arranged in version. So our most recent version is the 6.4. So we have the steps here on how to upgrade 6.4. I hope that answers your question.
One caveat to note is that the actual installation link is not posted yet. That should be coming next week. So we like to have this webinar and share this information in advance so you can review release notes, as Tabitha said, and orient yourself to the new version before we actually give you the new package. So that installation link will be present, we believe, next week. Additionally, just a comment about, it's kind of related to the next question as well, but if you're doing a multi-version upgrade, if you're on a version that's not 6.2, you need to go through all the steps for every version, as Tabitha showed for those installation articles. You don't just do the steps for the last version. You need to go through all the steps for each major version.
Yes, we have one more question from James, who's asking that noted the versions changed from 6.2 to 6.4, and whether this means that the support purposes, the two versions are being supported, 6.2 and version 6.4.
That's a great question. So, on the page that Tabitha is displaying now, the Taroworks releases, the current and previous would be the top two rows. So our numbering did skip a version because we actually had a release of non-functional features effectively for 6.3. All of those improvements are included in 6.4. It just wasn't a public release. So as long as you're on version 6.4 and 6.2, then your support tickets will be addressed. Thanks for the question, James.
Thank you for the question, everyone. I think we have come to the end of the questions, and as I mentioned earlier, if you have any more questions, feel free to send us a support ticket or reach us through the customer success manager. And as I said earlier, that this session will be shared for your reference. So thank you, everyone, and thank you, Tabitha, for the presentation. Enjoy the rest of your day. Bye.
Great, thank you. Bye-bye.